Common denominator. When we add fractions, we need to make sure that we have the same denominator. Then we're going to add the numerators, and we're going to keep the denominator to be the same. And then finally, we're going to reduce a fraction if needed. So let's go over this in an example. So example 1, on a winter day, there was 2 6-inches of snow that fell in the morning and an additional 1 6-inches in the afternoon. Example 1, on one winter day, there was 2 6-inches of snow that fell in the morning and an additional 1 6-inches in the afternoon. What is the total snow accumulation? So we're going to use the following. We have 2 6 plus 1 6. Let's go ahead just and rewrite it to make it a little bit bigger here. So notice we have the same denominator, right? So this is the same, which is a good thing. We want that to be the same denominators because then we're able to add, right? Then what we're going to do is we're going to add the numerators together. So what does that equal? We have 2 plus 1, so that's 3. We're going to keep the same denominator, so that's 6. And notice we have 3 over 6, which that can be reduced by dividing by 3 on the top and the bottom, so we get 1 over 2. So that would be the total snow accumulation. Now let's look at another example. So example 2, 1 month of a certain year, there was 4 inches of rainfall total. The following year, the same month, there was only 1/4 inches of rainfall total. What is the difference in rainfall between those years for the same month? So we're going to use the following. So we have 3/4 minus 1/4. So we're solving for the difference. So once again, we have the same denominator, which is what we want. Then we have a 3, we have a 1. So let's go ahead and solve. So we have 3 minus 1. So that's 2, and then we keep the denominator, so that's 4. That's 2 over 4, so that can just be reduced into 1/2. Now let's look at another example. Example 3, let's solve for the following. So we have multiples here. So what we're going to do is just look at this first, and then we'll use this next. So we have 2 over 7 plus 5 over 7. Notice we have the same denominator, which is great, and then we're going to add these together. So let's go ahead and do that. So we have 2 plus 5, which is 7 over 7. Now let's go ahead, before we do anything, we're going to actually go ahead and go minus 3 over 7. And the reason why we're doing this is we don't want to change the denominator. We want to keep the denominator to be the same, so we can go ahead and subtract these. So 7, right, minus 3, right, is 4. We keep the denominator, so that's 7. And we can't reduce, so that's our solution. Now let's do one final example. So we're going to solve for the following. So we have multiple operations happening here. We're just going to go left to right. So we're going to look at the first two fractions. So 1/6 minus 4/6, what does that become? Well, right, if we were to, say, change the signs into, right, we could go 4/6 minus 1/6, right? We're just going to go ahead and look at the, we're going to go 4 minus 1, so that's 3, and then it's over 6. But we have a more negative 4 over 6, so that's really, we're going to keep the sign of the negative number. So we have 3 over 6, but it's negative. So some people can, I like to kind of think of it like this way. Other people can just know, like if it's 1/6, and we're going to add that to negative 4/6, essentially what we're doing. Or we have 1/6 minus 4/6, right? If we're going on a scale, so we have 1/6, and then we need to go down. So this is 0, this is negative 1/6, this is negative 2/6, and this is negative 3/6, right? Essentially what happens is we start at 1/6, Then we have to go down 4, 6. So 1, 6, another 2, 6, 3, 6, 4, 6. So we end up here. That's another way to kind of also see it on the number line. So now we have, right, negative 3 over 6. So now let's go ahead and do this part too. So then we go minus 3, 6. So notice, so we're just becoming more negative. So we're just going back on this number line. We're going to go more to the left. So really, negative 3 minus negative 3 is going to be negative 6. We're going to keep the denominator, so that's 6. So we did the second step. Now let's go ahead and do this final step. So we have negative 6 over 6 plus 2 over 6. Now negative 6 plus 2, right, because we're adding the numerators. We're keeping the denominator. So negative 6 plus 2. So that means we're becoming a little bit less negative. So negative 6 plus 2 is negative 4 over 6. Now, feel free to, like say, maybe just do the top part. So if we have negative 6 right here, right, if we're going from negative 6 and we have plus 2, right, you don't even have to look at it in terms of the fraction. We can just look at it in terms of the numerator. Well, 1, 2, we just go over 2, and we end up with negative 4. And so our final answer is negative 4 over 6.